If you have IBS-M, you already know the cruelest part. It's not the constipation. It's not the diarrhea. It's that the fix for one is the trigger for the other. You slow things down. 4 days later, nothing. You get things moving. 2 days later, you're running to the bathroom. Every tool pushes you in one direction, and your gut overcorrects. That's not bad luck. That's the mechanism. And once you understand it, everything shifts. You stop fighting the direction your gut is going, and you start asking what's driving the switch. This is the complete IBS-M framework. Emergency adjustments, stabilization tools that work in both directions, and the investigation pathway that makes the pattern visible. Stick with me. There's one treatment that for IBS-M has more evidence behind it than fiber, than FODMAP, than medication. It's not what most people would guess. We close on that. Quick gate first. If you have rectal bleeding, unexplained weight loss, persistent vomiting, fever, or symptoms that wake you from sleep, see a doctor before any of this. IBS doesn't cause those. Full list in the description. If you're in a flare right now, episode 3 first. Come back when it passes. This episode is for the pattern, not the panic. I had IBS for 10 years. Most of those years were IBS-D, but there were stretches inside those years where my gut couldn't decide. 3 days, locked up, then the swing the other way, then back to silence. Those stretches were the most disorienting part of the whole 10 years. If IBS-M is your daily reality, you live in that disorientation. The other two subtypes punish you in one direction. This one punishes you in both. Same star system as episode 3. 3 stars means meta-analysis backed and guidelines supported. 2 stars means solid mechanism, lighter clinical data. We're going to cover 5 stabilization tools, 4 to 8 weeks each. These aren't for today. Today is episode 3. This is the work that brings the swings down, not by ending the switching. In 3 to 8 weeks of reducing how hard it swings. Emergency adjustments first. If you're in a flare right now, episode 3 has the full toolkit. Stay here for the IBS-M specific tweaks because the overcorrection problem changes how you use a couple of these tools. Loperamide, take it after a loose stool, has happened, not before one might happen. 2 milligrams, reactive, not preemptive. That one shift makes a real difference. For constipation phases, PEG, polyethylene glycol, sold as Miralax or Movicol, is the gentlest option. It draws water into the bowel, slowly, without stimulating contractions. Exactly what a gut that's already oscillating needs. What to avoid in IBS-M? Stimulant laxatives. Senna and bisacodyl push hard in one direction. In IBS-M, that hard push is often what triggers the next swing. Reserve them for severe constipation. That PEG cannot move within 48 hours. For pain in either phase, peppermint oil and antispasmodics. They target cramping without touching transit direction. Safe in both phases. Episode 3 for the full toolkit. Now stabilization. Tool 1. Psyllium husk, 3 stars. 1 to 3 weeks to take effect. The most important stabilization tool for IBS-M because it works in both directions. Psyllium forms a gel in the gut. In a diarrhea phase, it slows transit. In a constipation phase, it softens stool. It's one of the very few things that genuinely helps across both. Start with 1 teaspoon per day in a full glass of water. Increase slowly every 3 to 5 days, up to 1 to 2 tablespoons daily. Don't rush it. Give it at least 3 weeks. These are standard adult doses. On other medications, pregnant, or with kidney or liver conditions, check with a pharmacist first. That conversation's free. Take it. Tool 2. Peppermint oil, 3 stars, effect within days to weeks. Phase neutral. It reduces cramping and spasm without changing transit direction. Safe in both phases. 180 to 225 milligrams. Enteric coated 2 to 3 times daily before meals. The enteric coating matters. Without it, you get heartburn instead of relief. Psyllium and peppermint oil together. That's the foundation. Don't wait for the foundation to fail before adding the next layer. Run them together for at least 3 weeks. Then build. Quick note. The next 3 episodes are the deep dives that matter most for IBS-M, FODMAP, hypnotherapy, CBT. Subscribe so you don't miss them when they drop. Tool 3, Low-FODMAP diet. 3 stars. For IBS-M specifically, food is often what's driving the switching. A high FODMAP meal triggers a diarrhea phase. The gut overcorrects. Constipation follows. If you haven't done a proper FODMAP elimination and reintroduction, that's the single most important investigation you can run. And here's what most people do wrong. They eliminate, feel better, and stop. The reintroduction phase is where the actual answer lives. Episode 7 walks the full method and the mistake. Tool 4. Probiotics, 2 to 3 stars depending on strain. 4 to 8 weeks per trial, 1 strain at a time. 30% or more improvement after 8 weeks? Continue. Less than that, stop and try a different strain. The wrong strain does nothing. Full strain-specific guidance in episode 11. Tool 5, gut-brain therapies. 3 stars. This one surprises people, so I'm saving the depth for the close. Brief version now. Gut-directed hypnotherapy and CBT for IBS are, by the evidence, the primary treatment for IBS-M, not a last resort. Primary. Episode 8 covers hypnotherapy. Episode 9 covers CBT. Stay with me. We closed this episode on why. Now the investigation pathway. And this is where IBS-M has an advantage the other subtypes don't. The switching in IBS-M isn't random. It feels random, but it has a pattern, and your diary is how you find it. Start today, every day for 2 to 3 months. Bristol stool type, stress level 0 to 10, what you ate, and your cycle phase, if relevant. Don't interpret it week by week. Let the pattern emerge. IBS-M has 3 primary drivers. If your switching tracks your menstrual cycle, diarrhea before or during your period, constipation in the weeks between, that's a hormonal pattern. Worth taking to your doctor. Estrogen and progesterone directly affect gut motility, and your doctor can help you work with that rather than against it. If it tracks your stress, diarrhea during high-pressure periods, constipation when things ease off, the gut-brain loop is the primary driver. That's where Tool 5 matters most. If it tracks your food, certain meals reliably trigger a diarrhea phase, constipation follows, that's a FODMAP driver. Episode 7 is your next step. 2 to 3 months of data will usually tell you which one dominates. And once you know, the investigation stops being a list of things to try and becomes a single direction to move in. If you're still reaching for emergency tools every week after 8 weeks of running the foundation, that's not a stabilization problem. That's a pattern, and patterns have causes. For most people, that direction starts with episode 7, FODMAP first. But here's what I promised at the start. The most evidence-backed treatment for IBS-M is not in your medicine cabinet. It's not in your fridge. It's gut-directed hypnotherapy and CBT for IBS. I know how that sounds. Stay with me. These are not therapy for stress. They're targeted interventions that work directly on the gut-brain loop. The same loop that, in IBS-M, drives most of the switching. Improvement rates in clinical trials sit around 70 to 80%. That's higher than fiber, higher than peppermint oil, higher than most prescription options. And here's the part that should change how you think about this. The benefits persist after the treatment ends. Months for CBT, often longer for hypnotherapy. There's no other IBS treatment with that property. When you stop the medication stops working. The effects of these therapies can last after you stop. This is not a suggestion that your symptoms are in your head. The gut has its own nervous system, 500 million neurons of it, wired straight to the brain. These therapies work at that level, on the actual mechanism. For IBS-M, more than any other subtype, this is the tool that hits the mechanism. Episode 8 is hypnotherapy. Episode 9 is CBT, if stress is a clear driver of your switching. Those 2 episodes are not optional. Episode 7 is the FODMAP deep dive, the most impactful dietary change for IBS, and the one most people do wrong. Don't give up. Keep investigating.